Hi everybody, I hope you and yours are well. Tomorrow night, very exciting, we begin the holiday of Pesach, of Passover, where we celebrate the Almighty taking us out of Egypt many, many years ago. And we have 8 days of the celebration, 2 nights of a Seder. The question is, the Haggadah, the book we use for the Seder, tells us that we should feel like we came out of Egypt. But what happens if a person is not in a situation? If someone's stuck in Ukraine, or someone's a refugee of Ukraine, or someone's in jail, somebody is in a difficult situation. How could they celebrate freedom if they don't feel free? And the answer, I think, is personified by a story with my father of blessed memory. He was in the concentration camp during the Holocaust. And he and some of his friends decided they're going to try to bake matzahs under the noses of the Nazis. Had they been caught, they would have been killed for sure. And they made a complicated calculation of how to do that. The Nazis used some flour to thicken the water that they gave them that was supposedly, quote, soup. So they traded some of their bread to get some of the flour. And the people who worked in the wood shop made things a drop smaller so that they had that extra wood. And the people who made things in the tin shop made things a drop smaller so they had extra tin. And they used that to make a new cover for the stove. And they used the extra wood to be able to roll the dough. And they used the flour that they had saved and bartered for to make the matzahs. And it was an unbelievable experience, and they decided not only that, they're going to keep kosher as well, so they tried to make soup, which spoiled, and they were literally starving even before this, but for sure for Pesach. But they had a Seder in the concentration camp, and many people participated, even if they weren't able to eat the matzah, but they wanted to be part of this. How could this be? They're in the concentration camps, being tortured, being killed, and they can't go anywhere, and they're still celebrating freedom. And the answer is, Viktor Frankl, who was also a Holocaust survivor, famous author of Man's Search for Meaning, he said that the greatest freedom is the freedom to choose our attitude. We can't choose our circumstances, but we can choose our attitude. My father and his friends chose to affirm their Judaism, chose to be free like they came out of Egypt, in spite of being in terrible circumstances. And you know what? They were free, because you can control the person's body, but you can't control their soul. So therefore, this Pesach, let us try to become free. And I'd like to suggest 8 different things for the 8 days of Passover, what we can work on to be free. Be free of our own negativity, our own part of us that feels that we're not good enough, and that the circumstances of our lives are not good. Have more faith and be more positive and be happier. Be free of the negativity. Free ourselves of that. Number 2 would be the bad influences of other, or pressure from even well-meaning family and friends that want us not to do the right thing and don't understand why we're changing and growing. Number 3 would be freedom from bad habits. We get into routines and we don't figure out how to get out of those routines, and then we make the same mistakes over and over again. Number 4, we should have freedom to pursue spiritual goals. We can change, we can grow. That's the human condition. We have that ability. And we don't have to be locked into our past mode of conduct, our past value systems. We can say, what can I do better? Free ourselves from our faulty character traits, acknowledge them, look at them and see what we can do. Know what our good character traits are and build on those, and know what our bad character traits are and move away from them. Number 6, spend less time on our computers and our devices. We're losing our humanity, we're losing our time, we're just having time wasters. Number 7, free ourselves to make more time to study Torah. And number 8, make it a priority to make more time to do acts of chesed, loving kindness. And part of that's going to take away, moving away from media and looking for opportunities to see how can I help? How can I help my fellow Jew? How can I help fellow human beings? So this Pesach, we're celebrating the freedom of the past, and we're grateful to the Almighty for all of His kindness. There's many kindnesses, and the list in the Haggadah goes on. Dayenu would have been enough had you done less, but you did this, and you did that, and you did more, and you did more. And we should be cognizant of the kindnesses God does in our lives today, and think about how we can be free, not only imagining ourselves coming out of Egypt then, but imagining ourselves come out of our own Egypt in the current day. The 8 things that stop us from being the best that we can be. And hopefully we will have a very happy, healthy, and kosher Passover that'll be very meaningful, not only because it connects us to the past, but also because it builds us for the future and helps us become new people, free from the restraints of the past, to be able to grow and explore and become the best that we can be. A very wonderful and happy and kosher Passover. All the best.